All right, we are connecting. And now
Woohoo!
we are live.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Thirsty Topics. I'm your guy, Lawrence Elrod.
And I am Meryl Climo.
Hello, Meryl. How are you doing today?
Hello. I'm so good. I did the drive from LA down to San Diego in like 2 hours. And if people that live in California could understand that that's like a feat of nature. Usually it could be anywhere from an hour and 40 minutes to like 2 hour or 4 hours almost. So uh it's good.
I totally understand. And actually, we're doing some fun today. For those of you who also are on Spoon,
Yep,
we're also live streaming on Spoon right now
we
with my
are.
great co-host here. So,
Yep.
if you're ever on Spoon, check Meryl out.
Yay! I met some good people on Spoon. Some creepy people, but also some really good people.
We
Some
gotta have
good
that
creepy
balance,
people.
right?
Yeah, yesterday I was on it and I we were like playing a game where they were trying to guess my birthday and then I actually guessed someone else's birthday. So it was funny.
Nice.
They told me what sign they were and then I'm like, I feel like you were born October 4th and then that was true.
There you go. There you
It's
go.
like, you never know what's going to happen.
That's true. Well, at least that means people are watching you, right?
Yeah, or just listening. I like that Spoon is audio only so too, so I don't have to put on eyeshadow. But I'm happy to be here in this moment with you.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you're here as well. And I'm gonna let you go ahead and start off.
Okay, I'm gonna start. We're coming in hot with a controversial topic. I don't know if you've watched the documentary on Ashley Madison, but it's out. It's a three. I think it's 3 episodes. We already pretty much know the story. If no one knows the story about Ashley Madison, that where have you been? But basically, it was this site many years ago, like 2014, 15, that people signed up for to have affairs, and it was supposed to be like a secretive and safe place for people to list themselves and like go online and have affairs, almost like a dating site but for affairs. And then it was one of the number one hacks of all time, where hackers got into it and they threatened Ashley Madison. They gave them a month to basically say shut down the whole company or else we're going to release your records. And Ashley Madison did not comply, and the hackers did what they said they were going to do, and they completely breached their data, including like people that were on the site, their
Mhm.
emails, their credit cards.
Oh,
It
wow.
went into like a banking thing because then people had credit card and debit card numbers, along with like a federal issue because a lot of people that signed up had military and government emails. So yeah, so it was crazy. My thoughts on this, like, I mean, that's just obviously heartbreaking because I think they said 37 million people were on the site. And if you could imagine, like, the day that it was breached or like the week that it was, that if you're a divorce lawyer, that could mean like 37 million divorces in the United States and the world all at once. Um, and the Netflix documentary showed like this YouTube couple that always portrayed their life as perfect and they were kind of like the ideal family, and then sure enough he was on the site as well. um I of course, like I don't love that stuff at all. That would be heartbreaking. But what was interesting is so many of the people's backstories of like why they signed up on the site, and it was just maddening. Like if I was someone's wife, hearing, and a lot of most of the time it's men. I hate to like there was a lot of women that signed up too, but one of the men was just saying how bored he was in his relationship and that he was seeking passion and like something new and something exciting. And I'm thinking like, don't you think your wife also wants that too? Like she's taking care of kids, and it's just so selfish to me that like someone is thinking I want something new and exciting. I'm like, yeah, we all do, and that's why you just can't, like it's crazy to think that you don't think that your partner also wants that feeling too. Um,
Yeah. I mean, it's
but now,
crazy because, there's a difference between love and lust. They're not the same
yeah,
thing. And, you can ruin 30 years of a marriage over 30 minutes of self-indulgence for what?
yes,
You know. And the thing is that the funny thing about to me Ashley Madison is there is no such thing as secret because again if you're going through a divorce or someone wants to out you, you know those records can be subpoenaed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
besides the obvious hack, it's really not as secure as you think it is.
No, and some of the guys were like, "I didn't think, I just signed up the way that I would sign up to, like, rent a movie," or, like, the guy was like, "I happily put in my name, my credit card, my birth date, my email," like, not thinking that people could do that,
Hmm.
and it was just crazy to see the founders of it and these people that didn't care that they were in business basically like ruining people's lives, and they even said, and the founder, I remember famously, he was married or he is married, I don't know, but he would bring his wife's on or his wife on an interview with him, and like just kind of she was okay with it. It's just these are like very slimy people being okay with creating something like that. It's like it's kind of like, what are you putting into the world, to me?
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually kind of shocked that their spouses would support this because, if I came to my wife, hey, Tracy, I got this great idea. I want to create this site for people who want to cheat. Yeah, that conversation won't go very well.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like, "No, thank you." Until maybe you see how much money they made, but even with that, I would that's kinda like dirty money to me. I wouldn't want that anyway, and, if people do believe in karma, I feel like that's not the best karma that you have of, like, ruining everyone's life, and people would say, "Oh, they would do it anyway, it would happen anyway," and it's like, "Okay, that's fine, then I just don't need to be the one facilitating it."
And here's the thing: if you really got to go through all that, just go ahead and get a divorce or break up. You know?
Right. Right. Yep, totally, and I think a few it was good because a few of the couples that they profiled, one did forgive them, and so they were still together now, and they were just talking about it, and then a
Hmm.
few other ones were like, "Oh, hell no," and, like, sued him and made them pay for it, and that's still a business today, and the people are, who knows really the numbers, but they're saying that they're still thriving, and that even with the documentary coming out, it's still doing really well.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing: if your significant other finds that on your phone, what can you say? Because you already know what it's there for. So,
Right.
what can you really say at that point? You know?
Yep. Yeah, yeah, you can't just be like, "Whoopsies, I in my sleep, I signed up, clicked yes, the credit card," like
It was an accident. I was sleepwalking and I just started entering all my information and signed up for it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So I almost wasn't going to watch it on Netflix because I was just like, this is not gonna make me feel great," but it's an interesting thing to watch from a business perspective, from just and from a hacking perspective, because it was one
Mhm.
of the and I have to say I kind of like that it's like a movie, they stuck to their guns, the hackers, and released the information, like, on that day where they said they were going to.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, it's interesting, and the sad part is it's a big business, big
Yeah,
business.
yep. So that's what I was
So,
starting off with this week.
yeah, sounds like a new venture from. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding, just kidding. But I do want to bounce into something interesting. Now, obviously, at some point everyone is on an airplane, and then because of what you do, you're flying a lot.
Mhm.
How do you feel about someone that's sitting next to you just coughing and sneezing like crazy?
Oh my gosh, like the worst. And I know we all have moments where we have allergies or a cold and we can't help it. Like I feel like there's a difference of a contained cough and sneeze, and it's like, "Oh, I feel bad for you. You clearly are just experiencing a human moment,"
Mhm.
versus someone that is acting like they're have like the bubonic plague and it's like hacking and whacking all over the place, and also like not containing it, and that that like the active cough when people are like like
Yes, yes.
ugh.
And the
I,
worst thing is when people cough or sneeze and they don't cover their mouth. That is the absolute
yes,
worst.
it's disgusting anytime, but when you're in a plane, like, that is just the worst, and, I mean, I feel for them because if thinking, like, if I had to sneeze or cough on a plane, like, obviously, that's anxious, I don't want you don't wanna be doing that, and especially if, like, a coughing fit or a sneezing attack happens, that's like, "Oh, no," but I think there's some people that have a chronic cough that I'm just like, "Ew, please."
Do you think that some people say that, if you're like really just coughing and sneezing like crazy, that you should be able to be put off the plane? Do you agree with that?
Um I don't know. That's kind of because what if someone has, like, a condition, then like emphysema or something. I don't know. I think if it's like really, really bad, maybe like medically you would need help, or if it's to the point where it is like that disturbing and you're not covering it or helping, maybe
Mhm.
if it's like maybe because it's also could be getting other passengers sick. But what if someone has like some type of bad medical thing and like they're going home to see their grandchildren, or I think that's like a nuanced thing.
Yeah, it's hard to call because there's been situations where maybe I was at the barber shop and I drank some water or something and it goes down the wrong way, so
Yeah,
I'm coughing for maybe a minute or two, but then after that it goes away because
exactly.
so that goes into that gray area. Well, what is the cutoff then? Is it 10 coughs? Is it 5 minutes? If I cough twice, you ready to throw me off? I mean,
Yeah.
how do you determine what that limit is?
I would say like 62 coughs or more, and you gotta walk to wherever you're going. Maybe we should also offer airlines at like a cheaper price where like, all the sick people can just board, or like the three back rows can just be like all sneezers and coughers.
There you go. There you go.
I was at Disneyland and we were eating, and there was a woman, and it was like her cough was just that, and like it sounded like a witch coughing, and I just was about. I'm like, I can't eat like this. This is disgusting me. And like it sounded like she did have a medical condition, but honestly, like that was also kind of disgusting to me because I'm like, why are you openly coughing all over everyone at like a cafeteria in Disneyland? It was so gross.
See, to me, that person should be thrown out because now you just being just flat out disrespectful. If
Right.
it's really that bad, you really should just get up and leave. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
totally, and I feel for that person, I really do, because that's, like I feel for her, but it was like, I also think, how could you not be embarrassed by what's happening? My friend and I were both like, "How can you sit there and have, like, everyone staring at you?" And it wasn't like she wasn't choking, she was actively, like, just coughing over and over, but, yeah, it was so gross. I really truly lost my appetite.
Yeah, because I mean, sometimes you cough, but then again, you have that one person, and it's like they're dying. I mean, it's like oh, real loud. It's
Yeah.
like, dude, seriously? Like, come on, now.
Yeah. I know. It should be the same way that that the masks come down. We should be able to like stick an EpiPen in someone or something and just be like, be quiet. And sneezing, I totally understand because it can be like, but I mean, usually people that's not really a medical thing. Like, it's usually allergies or you have
Yeah,
a cold. So I don't know any condition in which you're just like randomly sneezing nonstop besides
that's true.
allergies.
That's true. But yeah, yeah, that was a good one. When I saw that, I'm like, wow, that is a great question. Because how do you handle that?
I know, and that happens in movie theaters too, where, like, I'll feel bad for someone that's coughing, and that's an embarrassing thing, but then when it gets to be a little much, there is that fine line between, like, I feel for you and please leave this area.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And like I said, sometimes things happen, but when you're like really loud and obnoxious, it's like, okay, now you're just being an asshole now.
Yeah, yeah, like, yeah, 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 we've all heard, like, even older men sometimes are like,
That's when the usher walks up and go, okay, come with me now.
Yeah, and some people have a sneeze where it's, like, repetitive, where it's like, "Achoo, achoo, achoo," they do it a million times in a row. That's kind of cute.
Mhm.
I don't mind that as long as it's not, like, sneezing on me, but
True, that's true. But then again, I hate to say it, maybe every so often bring those masks with you just in case, huh?
yeah, yeah, that seems like a good like, cough drops, I think anything could be better than that.
Yeah, or buy you one of those $15 bottles of water, you'd be all right.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, keep drinking it, keep drinking.
Uh,
Okay, was it my turn? I forget, or your turn? Or no, you did
it's
that one.
your turn.
Okay. Woo, my turn. Okay, I'm switching over just so I can read exactly where this was. But Bethany Frankel, the Real Housewives of New York City
Yes.
star? Okay, so I don't follow her anymore. I don't know what happened, but basically, she was in my feed a lot, and then all of a sudden it was just nothing. I may have blocked her, who knows? But she was recently denied entrance from a Chanel store in Chicago, and obviously she is like very, very, very wealthy, like extremely wealthy. Um, and she made this kind of ranting video about it because she was dressed pretty just schlumpy, in regular clothes, and just not. They didn't recognize her because obviously, if they did, they would know she has a lot of money.
Mhm.
But she went and made a video because I think she felt like how the rest of us feel sometimes, where it's like, oh, okay, you're not automatically ushered into Chanel and invited everywhere. So this was pretty funny. So she went back to Chanel wearing like the full head to toe designer looking
Saw that,
very,
yes.
very, yeah, like she looked good. She looked good. And of course, the minute she walked in, it was like Pretty Woman where she was met with like, good morning, Bethany. You could have anything you
Mhm.
like. And so, I mean, I think good for her for calling them out because like, she is a star and she doesn't have to do that. But I don't know. What's your take? Like, does
I
Chanel
think
have
the
to?
I think the way she was treated was bullshit. And
Yeah.
I did read the article, and supposedly, well, they were worried about being robbed. And here's the reality. Um, these days they're doing either smash or grabs, or they're coming in with multiple people with masks on. If
Yeah.
you're going to get robbed, you're going to know it when they walk in the store. So this BS
Yeah.
about you were worried about, no, no, you know.
Right, it's not gonna be just one woman dressed in, like, a t-shirt and sweatpants just robbing you, like, I haven't seen that yet.
Right.
Right, it's multiple people, and they look like they're going to rob you, like, they usually have, like, gear and especially, like, bags to put stuff in, it's not just Bethany showing
Yeah,
up.
I mean, when it's like 75 degrees out and they're wearing a ski mask, it's probably a good hint that something bad's about to happen.
Yeah, yeah. Have you ever gone into a store that's, like, kind of on the fancier or upper end and, like, felt really not welcomed?
Unfortunately, yeah, I have experienced that.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah,
also, like, think that that's also because you are a person of color too? Like, have you felt that?
I think that's the main reason.
Oh, that's
And
so annoying. That's so
I mean, it's gotten better over the years, but it's still out there. And the
yeah.
sad part about it is, it's like you can feel it. It's almost like you feel this heat that you're being watched. You
Yes.
feel it all. You know.
I've heard that from friends. I've also heard that they have felt, like, followed around in stores, like, different beauty stores. It sounds like they have had a different type of experience. Like, there's just the annoying associate following you anyway, like, no matter what asking, but from what I've heard from their stories, it sounds like a different type of following and kind of tracking, which is extremely upsetting.
Yeah, I mean it's very sad and it's ridiculous, because again, if you're going to get robbed, you're going to know you're going to be robbed. Period.
Mhm.
There's no ifs or ands about you're going to know it. But then she puts on this expensive outfit, and now your whole thing changes. Your
Right.
whole attitude towards her. I don't know if you remember this or not, but years ago, this was overseas. I forgot what country's in, but Oprah Winfrey walked into a high end store. But she wasn't all glammed up. She didn't have any. She just looked like a regular person without her makeup. And she walked in, and before she could even open the door, they actually locked the door, said they were closed.
Are you kidding? I don't remember this.
Yeah, it was a big deal. And
Whoa.
then as she was walking away, one of the workers recognized who she was, and then opened the door. Oh, Miss Winfrey, you can come on in. And she's like, no, no, thank you.
Wow.
Now you're talking about one of the most wealthiest women on earth, because there's not too
Yeah,
many billionaire women. Okay, let's be real about it.
right, yep, yep, and one of the most, like, powerful, and you don't
Hmm.
want her on your bad side, and just like a human that would want, yeah, but, like, either way, it should be people should be treated, correctly. I can see if it was someone that, like how they said, looked like they were about to steal, or, like, someone that was sneezing repeatedly, or, like, if someone I do understand sometimes stores have to deal with less than savory people of all different types of, like, men, women, whatever. Like, there's like little kids grabbing stuff. I understand they have their own set of issues, but not just like a nice person walking into a store.
Yeah, I mean it was kind of sad. You know, she was pretty nice. She didn't really call him out, but I think she should have. Because
Really?
to me when that happens, you need to call the store out. You need to call them out. I mean, obviously because of who she is, social media figured out who the store was. But
Yeah.
I think she should have called them out personally because it was so wrong the way she was treated. And just think about how many people get treated that way that don't have the star power that she does to command
Oh
the attention.
yeah,
You know?
absolutely. You know, have you, do you know that like character? He's kind of like a TikTok guy, but Salt Bay. He would like sprinkle the salt on stuff. Have you ever? It's this guy that makes videos where he sprinkles salt on steak, but he like he's good looking and he's like he does it in slow motion almost. He has like a slick back ponytail.
Oh, no, I
Have
haven't
you ever
seen
heard of
that
that?
one.
Oh, it's funny. His name is Salt Bay, and he seems lovely. He seems like really funny and nice. But he has a few different restaurants where it's like there's steak restaurants, and there's one
Hmm.
in Beverly Hills. And I went in one time to make a reservation for the future. Like I was planning on going there with some friends, and I was in Beverly Hills, and I happened to be wearing like my Jansport backpack and then sneakers. Like I was just there for fun, but you know we were gonna come back next week, and I
Hmm.
walked in to make a reservation, and like the way the hostess looked me up and down, I like she looked at my sneakers and was just like, okay.
Wow.
So much so that I'm like, bitch, you know, like we're coming back next week to spend like hundreds of dollars, you know, like.
Wow.
And then when I came back, I tagged them in an Instagram post and I just said like, Salt Bay doesn't like my sneakers. Like I guess I'm wearing them again next week. so, so I showed up and
Wow.
like ordered the ribeye with wearing my sneakers, but and you know that is not representative of the restaurant or the owner. That is just like the hostess. But if you're the
Mhm.
hostess of something, like come on, especially I don't know, you're supposed to be like greeting people, and you know I'm not
Oh
there
yeah.
wiping like dog poo all over with my sneakers. I'm like have you know making a reservation.
Oh yeah, exactly. You know, people want to be treated with respect too, you know.
Yeah,
And it's amazing how people treat each other you know, there's people that go to work that are miserable as hell. And they take it out on fellow employees and customers, unfortunately.
yes.
And who knows how many people that business loses because someone had a bad day or someone has these preconceived notions about people. And, you know, unfortunately, sometimes management is not even aware of what's going on.
No, exactly. And it's so funny to me when places like Chanel and more of like the higher end snooty stores, when those associates are snooty, because I'm like, okay, no offense, but you guys aren't actually making like $200,000. You know what I mean? Like, go take that attitude. Like, I'm not going to get mean, but I'm also like, chances are they might not be the ones that are like could also just walk in freely and afford that type of stuff. So like, it's weird
Hmm.
when you have an attitude like, and you can't back it up, you know? So,
Oh, exactly, exactly. It's like you're being rude to me and you're shaming me because you think I can't afford the store. And like, okay, you can't afford this store either. You
right.
work here.
Exactly, I'm like, "You're in the same boat as me, like, what are you doing?" Yeah,
Yeah, but hopefully it gets better. But good for her though. I'm glad she showed them a little something.
yeah, that's silly, and that's good content for her. I think I do think for better or worse, Bethany tries to kinda be like a woman of the people. Sometimes
Hmm.
it doesn't work out. Remember a few months ago when she, like, went into a store and brought her bags of her, like, semi-used makeup, and then that totally backfired, so, yeah, that
Yeah,
was a little weird.
that definitely was not a good look.
I know. I think she's trying to be as like in touch as possible, but that's fine for me. I think like you know it could be worse, and she's funny about it, so I don't mind.
There you go. There you go. Well, I got a fun one here.
Yeah, yeah.
There is this new thing now, and I just recently learned about it myself, where you can purchase a QR code to put on a headstone at a cemetery. And what it is, you take your phone, your smartphone, and you actually, you know, do the picture of the QR code so it opens up a link, and you see pictures, videos, and information on your loved one that's buried there.
Oh, that's such a good idea.
And you know, you can have it engraved into the headstone, or you can buy, I guess, a sticker that you can purchase and just put it on there like 50 bucks. You know, it's not expensive. But I mean, what do you think? You think that's a good idea, or you think that's kind of
Yeah.
creepy?
I think that's super cool. The thought of like a whole cemetery with just all grave plots having like that gets a little kind of like dystopian to me, you know, just picturing that happening. But I think that's really cool in terms of like learning about people and seeing if someone's interesting, just learning a little more. I think if it's done tastefully and if the
Hmm.
you know, if it's not just like a band sticker looking, you know, the kind of like stickers, I think that could be a cool thing if it's done artfully. Um
Hmm.
what if I had a sticker that was like just linked to my GoFundMe to pay for all my car. I'm like, thanks for coming by. Can you please pay off all my bills? Like,
There you go. Hey,
I don't know. What do you
I didn't afford a funeral. Can you help my family out real quick?
exactly? That would be so funny. Where it's like, now that you're here, like, please donate $10. I think if it looks like, to me, it will be about the aesthetic too, because it will be creepy to see a cemetery with a million different stickers like that. But if it's done nicely, I can see
Mhm.
that.
I guess I'm kind of torn on it because on the one hand, you're right. It is, if it's done tastefully, it could be a great memorial to your loved one. But also, too, I think it may have the opposite effect if you're still grieving.
Yeah.
Um, so, like if your loved one just recently passed away, and now all of a sudden you see them, either dancing, talking, or whatever, it may draw the sorrow and the hurt again that you still haven't got over. Because I remember years ago when my uncle passed away, it was very sudden. And, it literally took me years
Hmm.
um, for me to be able to say his name without getting emotion, you know, because he was actually not that much older than me.
Wow.
So, you know, and like I said, now, you never really get over it. You just learn how to cope and how to deal with it is what you do.
Right.
So I guess now if that was on his gravesite, hey, it'd be kind of fun to see him again, see him laughing, have a good time. But while I was still grieving, maybe not so much. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think it could be also like once people are ready for it, it could be a good place to house like if they want to do family trees, if you like online family trees, not like actual trees, but like if someone scanned it, that could be cool for like a biography of what they did, and then maybe if they
Oh yeah.
had accounts, and like I think that could be, it could be good in the way of like learning more about people and linking everyone up. But I could see how like right away when it's still fresh, not wanting to just click on it and like go to Facebook, or
Hmm.
it's always weird when it's like so soon and you're still kind of like dealing with it.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess overall, I think it's a great idea. I mean, it's a great way. I remember I saw a woman doing an interview, and she said she thought it was a great idea because, her husband had passed away, and she thought it'd be great for people to be able to come by and do the Cura link and learn a little bit more about her husband instead of just the name,
Yeah.
from, you know, born this date, died this date, showing that it's a person, more than
Yeah.
just a headstone. So that kind of made sense. I'm like, yeah, I can see that. I could definitely see that.
Mine would link to our thirsty topics.
There you go.
I'm live streaming on Spoon from oh my
So
gosh.
that was a good one. That was a good one.
Oh, this is a good one. That was a good one. Oh, this is good too. Okay, we're back on flights for this one.
Hmm.
Uh, Singer Lily Allen, who I really love, of course, she said a comment in the media during an interview, and she got slammed for it, where basically she said that on some of her flights, it's not all the time, but if it happens, she's not afraid to fly first class and leave her daughter in economy. I can already tell by your face. I think I might know what your answer is, but her daughters, I think they're like younger kids. They're not like teenagers, but they're also not like babies.
Hmm.
But she's like, "Hey, I have first class. I'll see you when the flight lands." And of course, like, I mean, Lily is like known to be silly and funny. Like, I really like her. But what do you think about that? Like, I think I would be okay with it, but it's weird having your parent be in first class. But also, like, what is she going to do? Put the daughter in first class? I don't know.
Well,
I can tell you have thoughts. As a
I think
non-parent,
it.
I don't care, but
I
yeah,
think it's selfish as hell.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, if I can't have my kids with me in first class, then I won't be in first class.
right,
And then on top of that, some of the flights she did it on was like international flights.
yeah, long
Like,
flights, yeah,
exactly. It's bad enough, you're talking about maybe an hour, a couple hours, depending on where you're going. But then, you're talking anywhere from 5 to 10 hours or more, depending on where you're going. You're in first class and your child or children are in coach or economy. I think that's BS. You don't do
you
that.
do,
I think
yeah.
that is. so selfish. I really do.
It's also weird when you're a celebrity and if people recognize you and then and then your daughter's kind of like back without you too. Like, I mean, I'm assuming like maybe they would have a bodyguard with them or someone else, but that would be weird just to be like, oh, my favorite singer is up in the front and then like this 9-year old is in the back by herself.
Oh yeah, I mean, I just think it's selfish personally. I mean, what do you think?
Well, I'm a little biased because I love the way that Lily Allen dresses. So if it was anyone else, if it was Adele, I would be annoyed, but because it's Lily Allen, I think. But I think she's wealthy enough and like successful enough that she could definitely afford to buy a first class ticket for her daughter. Um,
Hmm.
I think in couples that's fine. You know, like I think I tend to run a little bit maybe on like the selfish end of things just because I don't have children and I am an only child. But like if I think if I was a mother, I clearly would probably not do that and like let my kid all the way back by itself. But if I'm in a couple and I have first class or my boyfriend has economy, I'd be like, bye, I'll see you later. I'm not one of those people that like I'm not about to sit in the middle just so I can like be next to him. I'm like on flights especially just because I can be anxious. Like I need all the help I can get. So yeah, with kids I'd probably not do it. With anyone else, with friends and love people, I would probably be telling off my face in first class.
I mean, I think the thing that makes this thing worse is she can afford it. It's not a situation that she can't.
Right.
I think that kind of makes it even worse to me, you know?
Yeah. Someone has to be with the little girl too because like what is she gonna do by herself on the plane? Just like watch movies all by herself? I don't know. That just sounds weird and also boring for the child too.
Well, you know what? And then plus two, I mean, unfortunately, there's a lot of creeps that are in this world. Some of them may be
Yeah.
in on that flight. And to me, I would think you would want your child as close to you as possible so you keep your eye on them.
What about a scenario where they travel with a nanny? Would it be then Lily's by herself in the front and that the nanny and the child is in the back?
I still wouldn't do it.
Really? Yeah. Yeah. There's a part of me that could do that, but then I don't. I guess my answer is I don't know. I don't know.
Mhm. Now, now the flip side to that is, let's say the same situation, but instead of the daughter being like 10 or 11, let's say the daughter's 30. That may
Oh
change
yeah,
a little bit. It's a little bit
yeah.
different. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like 18 and up is like you're fine and you can handle yourself. And at that point too, teenagers probably are like wanting to be left alone on flights anyway, but you're right, like 9, 10, 11. That is a little weird.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, to each his own, but I don't know. I just couldn't do that. Well, here's a fun one. Did you hear about Nicki Minaj?
Oh, not I don't know if it's the latest or not. What was her latest?
The latest was she was arrested in Amsterdam on suspicion of having drugs on her.
Oh no, I haven't heard that.
Yeah, she was actually on her way to do a concert there. And the local police, had confronted her. They were like, you need to, step in his van. And she's like, well, why? And she's videotaping. So then a couple officers like, well, could you stop taping? She's like, no, I'm not going to start taping.
Right.
I need to talk to a lawyer. Why am I getting in this van? I'm not getting in there. Am I under arrest? And it was like they were hesitant. They were like, well, yeah, you are under arrest. Okay, for what charge? Um, well, can you turn the camera up? No, I can't turn this camera on. Well, suspicion of drugs or whatever. They were really cautious, and you could tell that they were really intimidated by her taping it.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing about it is they knew who she was. They knew she was on her way to a concert. Um, it looks like I guess she got brought to the station, but there was no charges filed. Now, allegedly, because I don't know for sure, but the rumor is that Nick is going to sue them for what
Yeah.
happened. But they never found any drugs on her.
And wait, I'm
So
so confused. This was in isn't Amsterdam? I think of Amsterdam as like the land of just free drug usage everywhere. Like I feel like they have maybe I thought they have like cafes where weed and everything are just completely legal.
I think it was a stereotype of her being because she's a rap artist, you know,
Right.
and the thing is that the stereotype is that all rappers do drugs and smoke weed, smoke this and that. There's some that do, and just like anything else, all of them don't do drugs. Okay, but it was kind of crazy, and it was just weird the interaction because it was
That
like
is so
nervously
weird.
they were nervously asking her, well, can you get? Because at first she was like, well, am I under arrest? Because she had to ask him because she wasn't just gonna get in the bed just because you
Yeah,
said
yeah,
you rap.
that's scary. You don't even know if they're like real police people too, or like that could be really
True.
that could be really scary. I wonder if they thought she had different types of drugs, because to me, like marijuana is so or so I'd have to look up the laws, but I feel like Amsterdam, I thought you could just be like more free with that and alcohol, but maybe there was other drugs.
It kind of makes you wonder what's something else going on.
Yeah.
Because generally, if an officer really believes you have drugs on you, they're very, very assertive in what they think. They're not real timid about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the other thing too is, let's face it, Nicki Minaj is an international superstar. So you can't exactly do her the way you do a normal person.
Right. Yep, yep. And she's live at the moment. Here she's streaming.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was interesting, but it was just a weird interaction altogether.
Wow. I need to watch that because I'm sure no matter what she made it entertaining too.
Yeah. And then what's crazy is, they let her go, and then she went to do a performance later on that day. So
Weird. Yeah,
yeah.
that is so weird, especially with like all, because I think of that as just a very liberal place in terms of usage and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So very weird, but we'll see if something else comes out of that one.
Have to keep an eye on it. Nikki, keep streaming.
There you go.
Oh, okay, good. This is a good one. The Four Seasons baby. I don't know if you're aware of this, but basically there was a clip where a mom asked who's ready to stay at Four Seasons Orlando, and there was two children. One was like a toddler, and one was a tiny little baby. The dad was holding the baby, and the baby is like, "I am," immediately, and it's like, this baby is just in diapers. I don't know if they know what a Four Seasons Orlando is, but they answered like a huge, like an adult would, and it went totally viral. And of course, this Four Seasons baby is having its moment. It's a girl, so she's having her moment where they did a photo shoot now with Four Seasons. I saw they put the baby in like a robe with kind of cucumbers, like spa pictures, and then they went on the news, and of course the newscaster like did the question. It's almost like a dog doing tricks where they were like, they did it again. They're like, who wants to go to Four Seasons Orlando? And then there's like a pause, and you can tell the parents are like, please do it. And then the baby does exactly what it's supposed to do and it says, I am. So the baby probably says I am to like everything, but I thought this was so funny, and just like now this baby is kind of made famous. A lot of people were saying it reminds them of the Baby Boss, that movie
Oh
where it's like
yes,
the Boss Baby,
I
because
love
it's
that
like this
movie.
baby. Yeah, yeah, they're saying that this is like a real life Boss Baby, um, and they're also saying this is like a fully conscious baby, where now people are posting their videos of children that are like answering and talking and just kind of acting in a adult way, and I think it's so funny.
Hmm. I loved it. I thought it was great. I mean, with all the craziness in the world, it's nice to see funny stuff like that, and
Yeah,
being able to watch kids be kids. I think that's a great thing.
definitely. Remember the corn person, or the corn kid that went viral, where he was like, "It's corn." Do you remember that or not?
I'm trying to think.
He was like, "It's corn," and then they made all these corn songs. It was like this really
Oh yeah,
cute
yeah,
little
yeah,
kid.
yeah.
Yeah, and,
I
and of
remember
course,
that. Yes.
and within like a week, that kid was like, "I'm now represented by William Morris Agency," and like he had an agent, and then I've never heard from him since. And I have a feeling that's what will happen with this baby, where it's like they'll probably get some commercial offers. I'm sure the Four
Hmm.
Seasons will cash in, and then who knows, the baby may, go into stardom. But that's so funny. But yeah, it's so
That's
funny seeing
true.
them on the Today Show, and
Hey, I would tell them enjoy the ride.
Exactly. And like hopefully they're gonna get a for life 4 seasons pass, like
Now that would be pretty cool.
yeah. And someone said, and they were totally right, where it was like this amount of exposure for 4 seasons of Orlando, like you can't pay for that. Like they gave them how many million eyeballs plus like a free
Hmm.
commercial pretty much on the Today Show.
Hmm.
And it's like that type of advertising would have costed like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I would have hoped that they, gave them a free week at the hotel. Just saying,
Yeah.
because that week
Yes.
that they gave up is way less than it would have cost for that publicity they got.
Yeah. Yeah. And I saw some videos of parents being like, "Well, we can't afford it the 4 seasons," so they're like, "Who's excited about Holiday Inn in Dallas, Texas?" One was like, "Who's excited about the hotel by the airport that we have to stay at?" The baby
Mhm.
was like, "Me."
And the beautiful thing is, they're so young; they don't know the difference. That they're going to be happy no matter what. So
Right, right, right. Yeah, so I think that was cute.
very, very, very. Um, my next one is actually a interesting topic. There was someone that I saw, and this person saw someone underneath their van trying to steal their Cadillac converter. Now, there's a big issue going around the United States about Cadillac converters being stolen on people's cars
Yes.
because of how much the precious metals are within that Cadillac converter. I hear that they can get anywhere up to $1,200 for one Cadillac
Really?
converter. Now, here's the thing: to replace one is not expensive. It's not cheap. It could be depending on the car and the model and everything. It can range anywhere from $1,200 to $2,000 to replace.
Wow. And then I think you have to put in like a grate or a crate. I had one that got her Prius stolen, or the catalytic
Mhm.
converter was stolen off her Prius. She was in a parking structure. And then she had to pay to basically like not only get a new one, but get like a protection. That was another 400.
Yep, yep. And the other thing too is, when they take the catalytic converter off, they're not taking things apart. They literally just cut it off, and they're out of there. So
Oh,
besides replacing the catalytic converter, there's repair work that needs to be done underneath the vehicle too.
that's the worst.
You know, it's just out of control with this crime. But the interesting thing is, this guy came out with a tire iron, and he saw the person trying to take his Cadillac converter. This is like the fourth time this happened. So, he went out there with a tire iron and started beating on the guy. Now, I guess for some people, they'd be like, good for him. I personally think he was really stupid because most criminals carry guns.
Yeah.
That could have had a very, very different outcome because, I did a little research, and there have been people that have tried to stop people and end up losing their life.
Yeah.
And and I get it. I get it. It's expensive. I get it. Nobody has that kind of money sitting around. I get it.
Right.
But there's no car to me or piece of car part or anything worth your life.
Right.
Call the police. It's just not worth it to me.
Right. I wonder what it so wait, did the person with the tire iron or the car iron, did he hurt the other person? Did he kill him or did he
No, he didn't kill him. He hurt him pretty bad because he was pounding him pretty hard.
really?
Uh, yeah. But the thing is that what also makes that story kind of crazy is they were like, well, this is like the fourth time this happened. It's like, dude, why do they keep coming to your car?
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, maybe park at a different spot, you know,
Right.
maybe, put something over the catalytic converter or something, because, if you can hit 4 or 5 times, maybe they know something we don't know.
Exa Exactly, or like get a car that doesn't have I mean there has to be like cars now. I don't know, get a Tesla or something. I don't know. I mean that is tough because I think he may just live in a neighborhood where that's common. Like I lived in a neighborhood for a while that they were always stealing car chargers out of cars and like like the wires and stuff and it was just like unbelievable where I'd walk outside and again like my window would be open and the car thing would be open. Um
Mm.
I understand the frustration and like a part of me is like good for that man teaching him a lesson and that guy has to learn, but I also feel like yeah, you're right. It's not worth not knowing what's going to happen to you or getting hurt. And yeah, like that guy could sue just the way the legal system is, if like the crazy thing is that if that person got hurt, they could probably have a case against the other person.
That's true. That's true. And like I said, I get it. I totally get it. But, you also have to think about other people because they also show this other guy who was in his house and saw someone trying to steal his Cadillac converter. He ran out. So the guy stopped. They jumped in the car. So he, I guess, tried to reach into the car and grab one of the guys or whatever. And, they still got away. But his wife was not happy about that at all
Really?
because she told him, said, that could have went really bad.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah. Like now they know where he lives.
it was like three or four of them in the car. Okay, so that could have went real bad real fast.
Yeah.
So like the one guy with the tire iron, he was like, would you do it again? He's like, oh, absolutely. And the other guy, he said, no, absolutely not. My wife was not happy.
See, I see both accounts. I wish there was more of a penalty for people that did like get caught stealing them so that they knew that
Mhm.
the risk was worse. Or I wish there was a way that we like could not have them be so much value and not have the part be of like so much value or something.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I would think that make it difficult. When you get your
Yeah,
car repaired, they're gonna have it up in the air anyway. Maybe have some kind of plate or something that's hard screwed in because you can use machine screws, which most people don't have the bits for a machine screw
right, right. Some
instead
type
of
of
a
like
regular
lock.
screw. Because to me, there's something in the design where if you can get under there in a matter of seconds, pull a $1,500, $2,000 part off your car and go, there's a design problem there to me.
Yeah. And each one should have a little camera that's like now recording, and it like
Yes.
uploads to your phone or like some type of face recognition or something. I'm sure there's like technical things that they can add that will probably be very expensive, but um fingerprints, like, I don't know, who knows, but I'm sure there's some things.
Yeah. Or the other thing is the easiest thing is crack down on the places buying those parts.
Yeah, 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 yep, and make it, yeah, only like reputable. Exactly, that's true too.
And if they get caught, they get a stiff, hefty fine and jail.
Yep, it's like the new ring, the Cadillac converter sale ring.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But yeah, hopefully that eases up. But
I know.
unfortunately, you got to be careful where you park your cars these days.
One time I was talking to a mechanic while he was like putting the oil in my car, and he told me that one of their clients was a person that ran out of gas, like, so just a regular nice man that ran out of gas and then had to go walk to get some gas, and on the way back his catalytic converter was stolen. So
Oh my god.
I know. So he was walking back like with his little gas thing, just thinking that he was finally going to be okay. And then he walked up to a car, and in that time, the catalytic converter was stolen.
I bet he was pissed.
Right at that point, I would just like sell my car and just say I'm done with this car. So I would walk home and say I now live in like a new town.
Yeah, I think that was a sign.
Mhm. That is like, yeah, I would fall on the side of the highway and just like never get up. Let's see. Do we have time for one more?
Yes, we do.
Okay,
Okay,
cool.
cool.
Whoops, I'm hearing myself now. Um, okay, I'm gonna choose this one. This one, oh, this is so funny. Okay, so um, Google's new AI overview is so funny. So Google launched their version of pretty much the Chat GBT and like the new AI overview. And
Mhm.
people were having it still has some kinks it needs worked out. People were asking it questions about like, what should I feed my baby? What should I do? Work related things, and it was giving answers from the satirical site The Onion, which is like a news site that gives out fake and really really funny. Like, I love Onion headlines, but it was giving out all these fake answers and just like nonsense type information. So people were like, "We are clearly not ready for AI, especially Google, to take over." Like, do you use Chat GBT at all?
I don't. I know what it is, but I haven't used it.
Okay.
Have you?
I use it. I promised myself I wouldn't let it take over my brain and creativity, but I do use it sometimes when I'm writing. I'll like not for comedy, but for other stuff, I'll put it in there and I'll say like be my editor. I'll say like edit this or like pull out any
Mhm,
typos and I use it that way.
mhm,
Or if I'm trying to think of titles, I'll come up with something like 10 title ideas and then I'll put them in and say like please give me 10 more that are kind of similar to this.
mhm.
And sometimes it's good and sometimes it's really cheesy and it's like more trouble than it's worth so far.
I'm a little nervous to use it just because, have you ever been on your phone and let's say you look up something and then all of a sudden you get like 50,000 ads for what you just looked up?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Or, and I don't know if I'm the only one this has happened to, but I've had situations where I could, talk to something about to my wife or my son or whatever, and then magically what I talked about, there's ads for that.
All the time.
And
Yes.
it's like, okay, this is a little creepy here.
Yes. Yes. It happens like I'll even have it sometimes where I'm just thinking it and I won't even talk it out loud to anyone or say it. And then all of a sudden it's right there. And it will be like very specific. Like I'm looking for sweet potato recipes. Like I'll think that in my head. And then all of a sudden it will be like, are you looking for sweet potato? Like,
I mean, it's funny, but it's scary too.
yes. I know, I know. I think the way I've used the AI so far is more where it's not thinking creatively, it's more like structure this or create an outline for this. It's more that. But um my boyfriend used it for like a vacation. He said, I have 2 nights in San Francisco and 2 nights in Yosemite. Like, what should I do? And it pretty much came up with an itinerary for him. And
Mm,
it was using like real restaurants and like things that are still relevant, so it's cool for that.
mhm. Yeah, as long as you don't get to the point where you just wake up and like, I think Siri's listening to me. And then Siri goes,
Right.
I'm not. And you're like, what?
Exactly. Or if they're listening, at least helping us along. I'm like, hello, at least remind me of everything I have to do.
Yeah, but like I said, I know we can't get away from it. It's here to stay. But and you know what's crazy? I said the word Siri and my phone is like, you know how you get
Uh-oh. They're listening.
yeah, I haven't got a sign saying we're watching you, so we're good. We're good.
Well, hopefully they're listening.
Oh man. This was a fun. You know the
This was
crazy
super
I had so many. It was such a crazy week. I actually had way more stuff. I had to literally cut down my list because it
fun.
was so much
Really?
crazy stuff happened this week. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know. I feel like on the way here I was listening to stuff too. Even like Red Lobster closing and all these, but I'm sure we'll have enough for next week too.
Oh yes, yes. In fact, that was actually one that was on my list, and I cut off. I'll save that for next week.
Oh
But
good. Oh, you know what? Wait, I have sad news. Next week is the week I'm on
oh, I'm sorry.
vacation.
The week after.
Yeah,
That's
the
right.
week after. Yep, yep.
So we'll be taking a break, but we will be back the week after though. And
Yep.
with Liz, um, I'm going to be working out the schedule to get you onto my talk show so we can
Woo!
interview you. So we're definitely looking
Yay,
forward.
yay, yay. I'm excited.
Well, this was a great day. And then also, while I have you here live, why don't you tell people about uh, your spoon?
Yes, so I'm on Spoon. It's this cool audio streaming app where I'll go on every now and then live, just kind of pop on, but I'm there like all the time on Tuesday and Wednesday afternoons. Tuesday, I'm doing this thing called Compliment Corner, where if someone wants to come on, I'll compliment them. And so, and then I also give bad advice. So if anyone wants, like, the other day people were asking me stuff about work and their love life, and I was giving them terrible advice. So, seems to be pretty fun. And then, as long as I think I'm on Spoon for 2 months and then we'll see if I'm continuing on it. But then hopefully for some of those weeks, you and I will be doing our thing too on it.
Nice, nice. Now, how can they find you on Spoon?
On Spoon, I mean, you just go, so you download the Spoon app. I think it's called Spoon Radio. It's orange and it says Spoon. And then if you search it, just my name, Meryl Climo, and then some of my lives I've been in like the top, I think I was like top 13 the other day and top 25. So, super cool.
Nice, nice. All right
And
then.
yep, and I'm happy to, where can they, and then you do this, your YouTube is Thirsty Conversations?
You talking about the talk show you're gonna be on?
No, for you, like if they want to follow you on YouTube too.
Oh, actually, they go to Elrod TV Network,
Okay, okay, perfect.
and then they'll see the live streams and any other videos that I have on there as well.
Okay,
But
I'm writing
put in
it in too.
thirsty conversations or thirsty topics, it should pop up. I actually rank
Okay,
pretty well, so that's a good thing.
yay. Okay, and I just uploaded that, so we're good to go.
Perfect. Well, for everyone out there, we had a great time. And again, we're taking the week off next week, but we will be back the week after. So always remember to have those thirsty conversations.